So this is just my own workflow for converting the test that I've already made out into Google Forms. And the first thing you're going to need is this little app called Greenshot. If you just Google Greenshot download, you can get it at getgreenshot.org. And one of my coworkers gave me this tip. This is what makes it all work. So when you go to here, you're going to download the latest stable and then click through there. It's really easy to download it. So now that I have that, what I do is, let me go to my drive, and I'm just going to walk you through how I create one of my tests. I have folders set up. Algebra 2, and then I have a chapter test folder, and this is where I've started doing these. So you're going to click on New, and then choose Google Forms, and this is what's going to come up. So first I name my form. Let's just call this Final Exam for Advanced Math. And then once you put it up here, it automatically comes down there. Now when I'm making out my form, the very first question that I put is first name, and then Google Form kind of saves what you do, and since I've done this quite a few times now, it knows that I want this to be a short answer problem. So that's here, and then click required. Now we're ready to go to the next question, and for this one I put last name. And the reason I do this, and it's short answer and required again, the reason I do this is because your results are going to come out on a Google Sheet, and this lets me know who it is. There's a way you can, or it's easy to make them just put it automatically saves their email address. But my kids' email addresses are long and kind of hard to read. So this is just a quick way. Now I'm going to make one more question, and this is going to be which class period they're in, because I assign one form to multiple class periods, and this just lets me sort the data if I need to. So you are either in first block, or you are in second block, or third block, or fourth block. Okay, and this was a multiple choice question, and it is required. Now when I hit the plus sign, it's going to make a square underneath that. So that's the first thing. If you decide you want to put a question in between, whichever block has the blue bar, that's where you are. So when you click the plus sign, it's going to put the question right after that one. So don't go up here and then click the plus and wonder why you're not at the bottom. All right, so I'm back down here to class period. I'm going to hit the plus. Now I'm ready for my first question. Now since I do math, once I get this problem formatted, it's difficult to retype all that stuff. So that's why this has been such a lifesaver for me. All right, you're going to hit the print screen button on your keyboard. And when you do that, that engages that Greenshot program, and this is what you get. Now I can use the crosshair part of the cursor, and I can select my question. And whatever was in that shaded area, that's what I've just saved. Now you have all these options as to what you just captured. You can save it as a dialogue, displaying a dialogue, copy to a clipboard, so you can print it, email it, OneNote, PowerPoint, all these different choices. What I do for this is I save as. Now I've already created a folder on my desktop that's called Algebra 2 Images, and I just save my images to this folder so I can find them quickly. Now I'm going to call this number 1, and you can either save it as a PNG or a JPEG. I've just been going with PNG, and then you click Save. Now that's the first one. Now what I do, and you can go to Google Forms at this point and do number one, I'm going to go through and save my whole test as different images. So let's go ahead and do one more. Now when you save, you do want to be sure before you hit your print screen button that your cursor is out of the way. If I'm fixing to do number two and I'm holding my cursor right there, when I hit the print screen button, as you can see, it left the image of the cursor right there, and I don't want that. So hit escape, that gets you back out. Now I'm going to move my cursor out of the way, hit print screen, there comes the crosshairs again, and I'm going to select this area, save as, I'll call this number 2, and save. And see, when I get through, that folder is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way down. Okay, so let's go back over here to the Google Drive. And I'm ready for this question. Now click this little image square over here and click Browse. Now fortunately, since I've been working on this today, it's automatically going back to this folder, but you might have to find the folder the first time. And see, here's the 2 images that I just clipped. So click the number 1, open, and there's my problem with my ABCD answer choices. Now you can you can type your own choices if you want to. I just like doing it this way because if I have fractions or square roots or any of that symbolism, it's really hard to get it into Google Forms. So now for my options, I'm just going to click A, B, C, and you see it's already filling them out for me. All right, and then that's that question. Make sure required is clicked, or I do. All right, now here's my next question. So once again, click the little image icon, go to Browse. It's going to automatically pull up the folder that I last went to, so I can select the next number and open. Now, this is the cool thing. Since I've been doing this, Google Forms has learned, what I'm trying to do. So when I click on the first option and put A, it's automatically going to give me a choice here just to add all. So there goes my BCD. Make sure that it's required. And then I'm ready to go to the next question. That's all there is to it. Now we need to make the answer key. Okay. Usually down here there's a little thing that says answer key if you set this up as a quiz beforehand, and I didn't. So if you don't see that option down here to make an answer key, click on settings. We're going to toggle where it says make this a quiz. Now let's just go ahead and run through these settings real quick while we're here. Do you want it to release the grades immediately after each submission or later on? I click immediately because I teach high school and they want to see what they made. Now, do you want it to show them which questions they missed? I leave that one on. But where it says respondents can see correct answers after the grades are released, I turn that off because I don't want them sharing answers or whatever else. All right, the point values, I leave that on. And my default point value is at 1. I can weight the grade however I want to before I put it in my grade book, but I just leave it as 1. That way I can tell how many questions did they miss and how many did they get right. Under responses, do you want to collect email addresses? My district does it where it automatically collects the email addresses when I'm accessing it from school, and I don't like the email addresses there because they're long and they're really hard for me to tell what is who. That's why I do the first name, last name. But anyway, I don't have an option about that when I'm at school. Allow response editing. No, I don't want them changing their responses, and limit to 1 response. Okay, so then on presentation, I always click show the progress bar. Now, shuffle question order, that puts the same questions just in a different order. If you have a lot of cheaters, that's a pretty cool option. I have a lot of teacher friends that use that. I don't shuffle mine. I just haven't. But that way, everybody's getting the same questions. They're just getting them in a different order. So 2 people sitting next to each other, there's not much likelihood that they're going to have the same question at the same time. Do you want to change your confirmation message? It says your response has been recorded. You can edit it and make it say whatever you want to. Do you want to show link to submit another response? I usually take that off. I just want one response. And view the results summary? No, I'll show them that if I want them to see that. So do you want to disable autosave? I always leave this off because if you disable it and they get disconnected in the middle of their test or they have to close out for some reason, it's going to delete all their answers. So I leave the autosave on. Your form defaults, the only choice there is do you want it to collect email addresses again. And then make questions required by default. I do that because I don't want them skipping one and saying, oh, I didn't see that one. So, all right, now when we go back to questions, if you notice, there is still not an option that says answer key. I'm not sure why that happens. If you set this as a quiz first, then you get that option immediately. But if you don't, you run into this. All you have to do is click out of it and then open it right back up. Scroll down, and when you click on that one, now you can see the choice to make an answer key. So you click on that, click which answer you want to be correct. If you want more than one answer, you click both of them. You can add answer feedback. You can actually put a separate one in for incorrect and correct. Like if it's incorrect, say, that's okay, I'll help you later. If it's correct, say, oh yeah, you did great. And then you'll go on to the next one. Here's the choice for answer key, and so forth and so on. And that's all there is to creating the test. So now let me show you, after you create the test, let me show you what your results will look like. That's why I love this, because it can help me analyze the data better than anything I've seen. So when you click on responses, you get the data sorted like this. There's a list of each question and it tells you how many correct there were out of the total. Now this was a pre-test, so I didn't expect them to do very well because I haven't taught them any of this stuff. This would just be stuff they, brought to the table with them. So that's what that looks like. Then right up here, there's this little tiny Google Sheets icon. If you click on that, it pulls up a Google spreadsheet of all this data. And it shows you the time that they finished it, the time they submitted it, and this is how it's organized at first. Then it shows you the score. On this one, I had them do their first and last name in one blank, so that's what I do. Their class period, because I assign the same test to multiple class periods and I don't want to copy it in a separate time for each class. So this way I can go back and sort it according to the class period. But I can just select, these two main columns and print these, and it will I copy it and paste it, but it will print just the score and the name. And there's so many different ways that this data can be organized. It's really been helpful. And that was Teacher Mom tip for today. So if you have something you're trying to make a Google form of, you can use a new document you've just made. You can use an old document. You can use a scanned document because it just clips it as a graphic. I know a friend of mine teaches science, and transferring a lot of those graphics from science is about as difficult as transferring some of this math stuff. So, like I said, I know I'm not a guru. There are probably a lot of you out there that already knew all this stuff, but just in case you're a dinosaur like I am and trying to move into this century, go ahead and give it a shot. If you get used to using Google Forms as a test, you will have so much more time to spend with your students that it's amazing. So go ahead and give it a try. Thanks for watching. Bye.